Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, July 15th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's episode of WWE Smackdown broadcast live on Fox from the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. In the main event, Asuka defended the WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair, losing the match by disqualification due to an angle during the match in which Belair was accidentally speared by Charlotte Flair, who was seated at ringside. At the start of the show, Flair and Belair had a confrontation in the ring that led to both agreeing to a match at SummerSlam. During a later in-ring promo segment, Paul Heyman took a super kick from Jey Uso after insinuating that Jey was responsible for the injury suffered last week by his brother Jimmy. Jey then chased both Heyman and Solo Sikoa out of the ring with a steel chair.
Jey Uso is done with the mind games and done with the BS.
Roman Reigns will be here live next week on FS1 for a Rules of Engagement with Jey Uso. You have to wonder what Roman Reigns is thinking right now as he watched Solo Sikoa, his enforcer, and his wise man Paul Heyman taken out.
Jey had initially pressed Heyman for a shot against Universal Champion Roman Reigns, but did not get a definitive response. In a United States Championship Invitational four-way match, Santos Escobar emerged victorious over Butch, AJ Styles, and Grayson Waller.
Top rope Escobar, crossbody, hook of the leg, got him, Escobar advances.
In other results, Pretty Deadly defeated Ridge Holland and Sheamus, and Bayley beat Zelina Vega thanks in part due to an outside distraction from Io Sky. Following the match, Shotzi appeared on the Titantron, and in a promo directed at Bayley, she shaved her head with electric clippers. AEW also presented Rampage last night on TNT, featuring matches taped last Wednesday night at the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. In the main event, Willow Nightingale defeated Ring of Honor World Women's Champion Athena to advance to the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Athena's ROH Women's title was not on the line. Two matches for tonight's Battle of the Belts special were made on last night's show. Lance Archer issued a challenge to International Champion Orange Cassidy following Archer's win over Trent Beretta, and Taya Valkyrie issued a challenge to AEW World Women's Champion Toni Storm following Valkyrie's victory over Izzy McQueen.
All right, fine! Calgary, Battle of the Belts, you and me. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to humiliate you in front of all your friends, all your family, and all your fellow countrymen. Now, how does that sound, huh?
Tony's serious.
Done.
But so
Right,
is Taya
yeah.
Valkyrie.
Done, stupid cow.
And it is official. Battle of the Belt 7 tomorrow night, immediately following Collision.
Also on the show, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Mantello. Now with a look at Mexico, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
CMLL ran their weekly Friday night show inside their home building of Arena, Mexico, and celebrated luchador Atlantis' 40th anniversary in the ring. In the main event, Atlantis, who turned 61 on September 28th, teamed with his son, Atlantis Jr., and Octagon to defeat the team of Averno, Fuerza Guerrera, and Ultimo Guerrero. According to the Lucha blog, a celebratory mass was held for Atlantis on Thursday in Mexico City. Two additional shows, this coming Monday in Puebla and Guadalajara on Tuesday, will also honor the veteran's career. Metalik, the former Mascara Dorada, teamed up with the new Mascara Dorada in the semi-main event. The pair tagged for the first time alongside Titan to defeat Cavernario, Templario, and Virus. Dorada 2.0 is a new persona of Pantorita del Ring Jr., who took over the role last month. In a hair versus hair match, Akuma and Dark Magic knocked off the team of Espiritu Negro and Rey Cometa, 2-1. Earlier in the show, Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja made their 10th defense of the CMLL World Tag Team Championship, defeating Gran Guerrero and Stuka Jr. Reina Isis submitted Lluvia with a backbreaker to begin her second run as the Mexican National Women's Champion. Former champion Dark Silueta, who had defeated Isis to win the title, vacated on June 14th after 575 days as champion due to taking on commitments in Japan. And in the opener, Esfinge, Fugaz, and Star Black defeated Defunto, Furia Roja, and Zondokan Jr. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
New Japan Pro Wrestling kicked off its G1 Climax tournament today at the Hokkaido Prefectural Sports Center in Sapporo. This year's tournament, the 33rd annual, features 32 men broken up into 4 blocks of 8, with today's matches coming from the A and B blocks. The main event of the night came courtesy of the A block, where IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata defeated Hikuleo and earned 2 points for his victory. Another high-profile bout in Block A saw Pro Wrestling Noah's Kaito Kiyomiya taking on one of New Japan's most touted young wrestlers in Yota Tsuji. The result saw Kiyomiya pin Tsuji after delivering a Shining Wizard. 2 other matches in Block A saw Chase Owens defeat Gabriel Kidd, while Shota Umino and Ren Narita fought to a draw, which earned both men 1 point. The most notable match of the night in Block B saw Taichi upend Will Ospreay. In other matchups, Kazuchika Okada defeated the Great Okan, Yoshihashi knocked off El Phantasmo, and Tangaloa upset Kenta. The tour remains in Hokkaido for tomorrow's matches featuring the C and D blocks. In independent wrestling news, the 8th annual Scenic City Invitational kicked off at the TWE Arena in Red Bank, Tennessee on Friday and streamed on IWTV. Winners in the first round included Bobby Flacco, Sawyer Wreck, BK Westbrook, Adam Priest, Landon Hale, Manders, and Timothy Thatcher. Jaden Newman and Shug D fought to a no contest, and both were eliminated from today's final rounds. The tournament resumes today from the same venue. Today's quarterfinal victors will face off in a fatal 4-way to determine the winner. Now with some more WWE news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Brian Pillman Jr. spent time at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida on Thursday, according to a report in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The reported visit came 2 days after Pillman finished up his 2-year contract with AEW. It is not known if Pillman has signed or will soon sign a deal with WWE. His father, Brian Pillman Sr., was under contract to WWE from 1996 until the time of his death the following year. The Observer also reported that popular Stardom competitor Utami Hayashishita was invited to the Performance Center by Io Sky, although it has not been confirmed whether or not she visited. Natalya tweeted an image of Hayashishita training with her in Natalya's own ring last Thursday, and followed up by tweeting, quote, "See you soon," end quote. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And in more AEW news, Jushin Thunder Liger is scheduled to make an appearance tonight on the live edition of AEW Collision from the Calgary Stampede Saddle Dome, according to a social media announcement from Liger himself. Liger indicated that he had been invited as a special guest in conjunction with the finals of the Men's and Women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, both set to take place on the show. Liger and the late Owen Hart worked together frequently when both were a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the late 80s and early 90s, both as opponents and tag team partners. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.